Hello and welcome to this second Welcome to Puget Sound panel. I do apologize for the technical difficulties and thank you for bearing with us here. We're excited to be here with you today. My name is Skylar Marston-Beal. I use she and they pronouns, and I'm the Director of Orientation and Leadership here at Puget Sound. Today we have a great set of panelists with us today, and in a moment I will invite them to introduce themselves. You can, throughout the session, use the Q&A function in your Zoom window to submit questions. We have a great team of folks working behind the scenes to respond to those questions, and then some of those will then also be pitched up towards us so that I can ask them to the appropriate panelists, who will then be able to respond directly to your question. Thank you again for being here. So, panelists, thanks for being here as well. If you don't mind, we'll start here with Archie and we'll just go down the row. You can introduce yourself, your name, your pronouns if you choose, your title here at Puget Sound, and then what is the most fun thing you did this summer here in Tacoma or in the broader Pacific Northwest?
Absolutely. My name is Archie Kerr. I'm super happy to be here. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm also very happy to be the Vice President of the Associated Students of the University of Puget Sound. That's our student government. And the most fun thing that I've done in Tacoma this summer is discover new restaurants and shops around town.
Hi, my name is George. I'm a Passages coordinator here for Passages 2025, and I'm super excited to meet you all. I'm currently a rising junior at UPS, and the best thing that I did this summer so far is I went on a really fun hike with a friend of mine to a gorgeous view of Mount Rainier. It was a lot of fun.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Kelly Brown. I am the Director of Counseling, Health, and Wellness Services here at the University of Puget Sound. And the thing that I did that was most fun this summer is I went to this place called Charlotte's Blueberry Park, which is a public park that you can pick blueberries at for free. It was really nice.
Hey everybody, my name is Will Holland. I'm a success coach here at the university and I use he, him pronouns. I have been to a lot of concerts near water this summer. I went up to a concert here in Tacoma, in Seattle, and in Bend, Oregon, all next to water. And so I would definitely recommend doing that when you're here.
My name is Jay Tasca. I use they, them pronouns. I'm one of the resident directors here at UPS. And one fun thing that I did this summer was I took my dogs for a walk at Owens Beach, right on the water. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you. So we do have some prepared questions that we'll start with, and I will sort of popcorn them around amongst the panelists. But again, if that triggers any thoughts that you have or questions you'd like more information about or a follow-up question, again, go ahead and put those into the chat or into the Q&A, and the team behind the stage will send them to my phone. So I will be glancing down periodically and using my phone. That's how I'm receiving your questions today. Awesome. So we'll get started with a question for you, Jay. When can I move in?
Yeah, your move-in day is August 22nd. You will have received a letter in the mail that designates your time and your location about where you should show up and when, but we'll be here to help you move in, and we're so excited to have you.
Great. Thank you. So, George, what if my move-in time isn't until 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
When can I check in for passages, and what else is there to do on that day?
Absolutely, yeah. So move-in day is very focused on getting you into those residence halls, but there's so much other fun things to do. We got an axe throwing event, like blow-up axe throwing. It's kind of a lot of fun. Resource tables, all from all sorts of campus resources are going to be present. And then we have Gris's Garage, which is kind of like a fun way to get a bunch of dorm gear beforehand. Make sure you bring cash or a credit card, and it opens at 8 a.m. It's over in Thomas Hall, just a great spot to get really reduced rates for like fridges if you come really early, and then more like dorm decor style stuff later in the day. So yeah, but it's all going to be starting from 8 or 9 a.m. all the way through the day. There's always going to be stuff running around, doing stuff, and people smiling and having fun.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. Dr. Brown, can you talk a little bit about the services that Counseling, Health, and Wellness Services offers, and when might I get referred off campus instead of using the clinic?
Okay. And I forgot to say I use she, her pronouns. But the services that are offered at Shaw's there's counseling services that are free to students, and we have psychologists, we have doctoral interns, master's level interns, and pre-doctoral interns who all provide those services. We also have, and so you can do individual, and we have a lot of really amazing groups that I hope you will consider saying yes to. The other thing that we have are our medical services, and that the medical services are like your primary care away from home. So when you see your primary care provider, anything that you would do with a primary care provider is what you can do in SHAWS. We also provide, we will keep ongoing if you're doing ADHD medications or any kind of medications that you were taking before you came to college. SHAWS can continue it. We have a pharmacy, we have a psychiatric nurse, we have a registered dietitian. We also provide gender affirming care, and hopefully we do a lot of outreach as well. You'll find us all over campus, so even if you've never stepped in, our goal is to have touched you in some way. The times that you might be referred out is, if it were a medical issue and say, the providers were to notice, I don't know, something like, oh, maybe you need to see a cardiologist or a specialist of that sort, then we would refer you out to those specialized services. And then from the counseling side, it really depends. We're looking for if the issues that you're bringing are outside of our scope, and you need more specialized services. Say you're really wanting therapy every week, and you need a lot of crisis services. Then we want to get you someone who will be here all year round. Counseling services, our clinic closes with each break, and so we really want to make sure you have wraparound care if that's something you need. You also might be referred out if our CHAWS clinicians fill up and we need to find care for you elsewhere. The good news is this year we have hired a mental health clinician and referral specialist. So if there is a reason that we need to refer you out, we're also going to really work to guarantee that you get somewhere good, that you're happy with. And so that person is very excited to start this year. We also have You Will, which is an online therapy service, which is available to all students. You get 8 free sessions. There's also a crisis line that's 24/7 with that. So if for any reason CHAWS is not available, that service is also there to step in.
Awesome, thank you. Will,
Mhm.
at our last panel, Lexi was here, your compatriot, to talk a little bit about working with a success coach. What has the rest of the summer looked like for you all in working with first year students? And what would you say, if you could tell a first year student the most critical thing right now, what would that thing be?
Right now,
Yes, at this point in time.
at this point in time, okay. The best part about the summer, all summer we've been meeting with y'all. We've been hoping to meet with everybody. We still have a few weeks left, so if you have not had a meeting with your success coach, that would be me or Lexi Pickett. Please reach out to us. Please, you can email us at successcoaching@pugetsound.edu. We'd love to meet you and kind of hear about your story, hear where you're coming from, and start to get an idea of how we can best work together through this next year. The most important things to be thinking about right now is, do you have all your stuff packed together for move-in day? Have you connected with your roommate, your future roommate, to talk about who's bringing what? And I would definitely start to go over your class list if you haven't already and start to kind of think about what those classes are going to be like. Maybe look at your daily schedule and determine when your study time is going to be, when your break time is going to be. These are all things that you don't have to have down pat right now, ready to go, but maybe start thinking about it as going to be something that can help you out as you get further down the line.
Jay, speaking of that packing list,
Nice.
what are some basic items that would be helpful for me to have in my residence hall room?
Absolutely. I think the most important and the most common are mini fridges and microwaves. I would really recommend that you connect with your roommate ahead of time. You don't need 2 sets, so coordinate who's bringing what or who's going to stop at Chris's garage early in the day. And if you haven't already connected with your roommate, you can do so by going into your My Puget Sound and then going into the housing portal, and you can reach out to them there.
We have a follow-up question from one of our viewers. If they haven't received their letter with their move-in time, is there another way they can find out that information?
Yeah, absolutely. I would check your email as well. Sometimes you get information in many different ways, and if you're really concerned that you haven't gotten the information you need, you can always reach out to reslife@pugetsound.edu, and we'll be able to send that right over to you, and let you know what you need to know. I also forgot to mention, if you're looking for a more detailed packing list, we do have one on the ResLife website through the My Puget Sound website as well. So you can go ahead and find a really comprehensive list of things there.
Awesome, thank you. Okay. So this is a question that we've had sent in a number of times for Dr. Brown. Can I opt out of the university's health insurance?
So the university doesn't offer health insurance, so sure. But we do recommend that every student have their own health insurance through, your parents, through caregivers, through your own employment, whatever it is. We recommend that you have your own health insurance. You do not need health insurance in order to use CHAWS, but one of the things that there are no fees for counseling in counseling health and wellness services, but there are fees for medical services. They're usually lower than what would be your co-payments through insurance, but the place that insurance comes in handy is if you need labs drawn, or there's some other thing that they're doing that kind of sends you outside, picking up prescriptions, all of those things. You're going to want your insurance to help cover those things. And we send all lab bills over $100 to insurance for you. So that's and the other thing, even though there are fees in CHAWS, if there is a student for whatever reason cannot afford the services in CHAWS, we have ways to support you. We don't want any student to not come for fear of a fee.
So I'm gonna pitch a follow-up to that. Can they still get prescriptions filled by their primary care provider?
You can get your prescriptions filled by your primary care provider from wherever you are. CHAWS will also pick up those prescriptions and keep prescribing them for you. We have some of the things that are pretty common prescriptions in our pharmacy, and then other things we would send you out into out to the pharmacies in the local area.
Great, thank you. Archie, what does student government look like really at Puget Sound, and how is it different from high school?
Absolutely. So my personal favorite thing about the student government is just really how far our influence goes. I don't want to use the term autonomous because of course we collaborate and work very closely with lots of different offices on campus, but at the end of the day we have quite a lot of say in where the kind of policies and decisions of the student body go. The president of ASUPS, my close colleague, sits on the board of trustees of the university and so has his voice very much heard by the ones who run the university at the end of the day. I was not involved with student government in high school, but I was chatting with actually George, who reminded me that the student government here at the University of Puget Sound has very on-hands control of our finances, which is a pretty significant responsibility, but also as long as we make good use of those finances, they can really go towards the improvement of the student experience. And so I would really say that just the range of possibilities that the student government has is quite high.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Awesome. George, I have sort of two questions in tandem, and one of them is from one of our online participants. The first question is actually that one, and take a stab at it.
Sure.
So we found the general online orientation schedule made available,
Awesome.
but what if I still haven't figured out which trip I'm assigned to? Where can I look for that?
Absolutely. So it's going to be in that orientation tile as we have reached out to you and communicated with you on your My Puget Sound. But if you're looked in every box and corner and the entire website and that whole kind of page and you still can't happen to find it, send us an email. No harm, no foul. We are more than happy to help out in assisting along that process. So send us an email at passages@pugetsound.edu if you really can't find it, but it's going to be in that orientation tile. If I'm understanding that question correctly.
You got that.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, you're looking for your My Passages schedule time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, perfect. So along with that, if I'm in an immersive experience that is returning to campus in the evenings, what do my evenings look like? What kind of activities are available?
Absolutely. So we have a lot of fun things that are going on campus while the card campers and backpackers are off campus. Some of those including a movie night, a drag queen bingo event, which is going to be super exciting. I'm planning it personally. It's going to be awesome. Shout out. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. But if those kind of potentially more higher energy events aren't your kind of jam, there are also a recharge room available to kind of sit down and relax and process and just chill, maybe craft a little bit and vibe out, to just you have the balance of both to make sure that the high energy side of passages is still there, but also if you need to take a step back and slow down, we also have those services and opportunities there for you.
Awesome, thank you. Will, we've mentioned Lexi and you. How do I know who I should reach out to which of you is my coach?
Yeah, we split all y'all by last names. So if your last name starts with the letters A all the way through L, I'm your assigned coach. If you ever remember my last name, it's also in the first half of the alphabet. Lexi's last name is Pickett, hers in the second half of the alphabet, so that would be, if I get my letters right, N through Z. If you have the letters N through Z, that's going to be Lexi as your success coach. And you are more than free to text us or call us or shoot us an email. Whatever is easiest for you is also easiest for us.
Great, and I have a follow-up, I think, for you. I registered for an early move-in through SAA. When do I actually move in? Do you know the answer to that?
I believe move-in for SAA is the day before, it's Thursday the 21st.
Sorry to put you on the spot. Yes, yes, absolutely. That's correct. Yes, so Thursday the
It's
21st. No, sorry. Okay, great. Jay, how can I find out the dimensions of my room? I want to plan my layout now.
Great question. So the size of your room is going to vary depending on the building and depending on the room that you're in. We've got old buildings, so sometimes the end room is a little bit different than the middle rooms. So what I would really recommend is that you're going on the ResLife website and you click your hall, and then you'll be able to see an example photo of a room in that hall. Things might vary a little bit, but then you can get an idea of the style and the general shape of your room.
Yeah, and fun fact, if you go to Harrington Hall, is it being used this year?
It is.
Okay, it's being used. We were roommates freshman year, and so we actually got a photo shoot of our room. So if you go on to Harrington Hall and go to the photos, that's our room. We're in those photos. We live there. That's us. So yeah, shout out.
And most, if not all of them, actually have a 360 photo, so you can kind of scroll around. It's pretty cool. It's pretty snazzy.
So you've mentioned the packing list. Is there anything I'm not allowed to bring?
Yeah, this is a great question. I would generally just go check the ResLife website to really get to know what you should and should not bring, because the policy can be a little bit more extensive than we want to talk about here today. It would take a hot second. But really anything that's an open heating element, I would stray away from. Things like a microwave are fine. Maybe not a toaster, right? Things like candles we can't have in the halls, anything with an open flame. So really thinking about the safety piece, but again, I would check the website if you're concerned about bringing something or if you're just not quite sure.
Thank you. So continuing with the packing theme, I'm going backpacking. How do I know what to pack?
Absolutely. So you're gonna have a packing list that comes to you. It's either has already arrived to you.
My Puget Sound.
It's in My Puget Sound. There you go. So yeah, look in that orientation tile at My Puget Sound. It's going to be in that backpack. Your packing list along with your passages schedule. It's all going to be right there. That's going to be your home base for everything passages. And again, if you have any further questions, send us an email.
Great. Dr. Brown, will the health center offer a flu vaccine, or do I need to go offsite for that?
Yes, we will be offering a flu vaccine. We do so every year. Highly recommend you get it.
Great. Archie, so it sounds like student government is pretty cool. How do I get involved? Are there rules for first years?
Absolutely, yeah, there are plenty of rules for first years. We love first year involvement, we want more of it. I would really recommend looking towards our fall elections for the Senate, which makes up the legislative branch of the association. That is the branch that really crafts the policies that myself and my team then go and carry out. But if that doesn't interest you, my team also has deputy director positions, which several of my friends and colleagues out there start that way. That's a really excellent way to get into the room where those conversations are being held, really make your voice heard. If neither of those things will interest you, we also have a long list of committees which do similar work to the Senate and the deputy directors. I actually got my time in the association started as a member of the finance committee, and so that is a really, really excellent way to step in. But if you're curious about anything like that, the Associated Students of the University of Puget Sound has their own website on the university's main domain. And so if you go to that website, check us out. You've got plenty of opportunities to join, absolutely.
Great, thank you. George, this is a question from a student who will be living off campus.
Sure.
They're curious if there's anything they should attend on move-in day, or if they just wait until the first day of classes.
Well, regardless if you're moving, living in, on campus or not on campus, you want to make sure that you check in for passages is the big thing. And that's going to be on the Wheelock Plaza on the slab, as we call it here. So that's going to be where you get your welcome packet, where you get all your things for your immersive experience, whether you are doing a more specific immersive experience or the more like transfer-oriented immersive experience, both of which you have to go check in on move-in day from 9 to 1 p.m. So yeah.
Great. You'll also want to stop by some of the other resources that will be set up that day as well. If you have a campus employment, if you're working on campus, you'll need to fill out some paperwork in the rotunda that morning as well. You'll need to pick up your logger ID card, which can also be done in the rotunda. There are a number of other things that you'll want to come to campus for. And then additionally, we have our kickoff for the week, which really begins at convocation at 4 p.m., which will be in the field house. So even if you're not moving in, it's worth coming to campus, taking care of the sort of more business side of things, and then attending convocation as well, and that'll kick things off for the week. And then of course, Passages runs all week long, so even if you're not living on campus, you'll want to be here each day so that you get the full Passages experience with your group. Okay, thank you all. We're getting some great questions coming in. Thank you, keep sending those. So, so if I have, oops, sorry, let me pause. Nope, we've covered that one. Great. Is birth control something that can be gotten from the health center, or should that be done through their primary caregiver?
Birth control is something that can be gotten through the health center. So really think about the health and wellness services as being, if you get it at your primary care, you can get it here. And I also think that our services, one of the things that's really nice about the primary care that's offered at Shaw's is because we're not reined in by insurance, our providers can spend a lot of time with you. They will provide you with education, they'll talk through things, they're not typing away at a computer while you're talking with them, they're actually having a conversation with you. So I think it's some of the best care that you can get, and I hope you'll come make use of it.
Great, thank you. Jay, can I loft my bed?
So no, unfortunately you cannot loft your bed. We do have most of our beds at around 36 inches, or what we call captain's height. If it's not there, try flipping your bed, and usually it's a little bit higher that way. And if you have any, if you're concerned or the bed is not near 36 inches, we do have some bed frames that are not. And just shoot us an email at reslife@pugetsound.edu, or find your RA or your RD the day of, and we can get that on the list to get swapped out. But no, and there's no home lofting as well, so no homemade or store-bought lofting tools.
Thank you. So George, when will I find out who my leaders are and who's in my immersive experience?
Absolutely. So your leaders are already on My Puget Sound. You can already find this out. So I just send you right back to the orientation pile on your My Puget Sound. But for the sake of who's in your group, you find that out actually on the first day of Passages, which is going to be Saturday, August 23rd, the day after move-in day. And that's going to be, it's kind of a fun little thing that we do, and I'll keep it a little bit of a secret because it's kind of a fun thing, but it's a little bit chaotic, but also just kind of a fun time, and that's when you first meet your group all at one time, and that's when you kind of kick things off. So that's going to be the first day you meet your group, is going to be Saturday, August 23rd, but you already know who your leaders are, so yeah.
Great, thank you. Archie, what is ASAP's working on this fall, and what's something we should be looking forward to?
Yeah, so one of the best events at Puget Sound every year is put on by the student government, and that event is called Log Jam. It's a 2-day event that takes place mostly right in the center of the campus in Jones Circle. The first day is going to showcase all of our identity-based clubs, such as the Gender and Sexuality Alliance, the Asian Student Community, and so forth. That's a really great way to kind of meet members of your community. And then the second day is really what people think of when they hear the phrase logjam. That's when every single club on campus, which right now is hovering at around 75, gets together in that hall, in Jones Circle. We've got ice cream, we're going to have catering. It's a really excellent way to just see what is really here at Puget Sound. Ways to join organizations, make your own organization, lead a new one. And so that's going to be happening September 4th and 5th. I highly recommend that you go to that. It's one of the best things we've got here. As for the other parts of the fall, like I mentioned, we're going to have our senatorial election. We're also redoing a space in the main student center for students to just kind of relax together. So that's going to be revamped in the fall for your guys' enjoyment. Those are what's coming to mind right now, but whenever you're curious about what ASIP is doing, shoot us an email, look at our website, there's always been new information there.
Great, thank you. Dr. Brown, I have two more for you. One is, they're both related to prescriptions or controlled substances. The first is, can a controlled substance or prescription like Adderall be gotten through the health center, and then can prescriptions be delivered to their UPS mailboxes?
Ooh, now the mailbox question, I can't answer for you, but you can email us at chaws.edu. I'm sorry, chaws at pugetsound.edu. And one of our providers can answer that question for you. As far as like your ADHD medications like Adderall, all of those things, yes, we do prescribe those. And you will need a formal diagnosis from the provider that you have seen out in the community, and for that paperwork to get sent, and then the prescription transfers. And then if you're a student who's like, I wonder if I have ADHD, then you can come into CHAWS, and there are some evaluations we can do, and it sort of depends on what's going on in your life and our resources, whether we can make that diagnosis or whether we connect you with resources to help get that diagnosed. We have a psychiatric nurse on campus, and sometimes that can happen there as well. So there's a lot of different ways to get connected with those kinds of resources if they are needed, and some of them will be referring you to.
Great, thank you. Will, I've heard that I should connect with you now, but how do I best make use of my success coach throughout the year?
Yeah, the success coaches are really just here to help support you throughout your entire first year on campus. And my favorite part about the position is that really looks up to you how you want it to be. So there are some students that come in just for one meeting, and we'll talk about some resources, we'll talk about how things are going, and then they'll run away and they'll have a great next 4 years and I'll never see from them again. And that's fine, that's perfect. If they're feeling successful without us, that's amazing. Other students though like to come in for what I call serial meetings, and this is where the coach meets with you every other week, maybe once a month, just as like a check-in. We have a food pantry in the office that I work in, so I like to say, come grab a snack, sit on the couch, and let's just kind of chat about how things are going. We do a lot of organizational stuff as well with students, and this year we'll be giving out a free planner or a logbook for every student that is not just going to be like a organizational tool, but it's also going to have some like resources and tips and stuff from offices around campus. So I would definitely be on the lookout for that, and make sure you come and snag a free planner when you get here.
Thank you. Jay, if I'm moving in early, should I stay in my room at night?
If you move in early, that means you've got access to your room, so you can absolutely stay in your room overnight. If you've got more specific questions or if you have concerns, just email reslife@pugetsound.edu. But yeah, if you've got access to your room, you can stay there overnight. Get comfortable, get used to it, get cozy.
Great. Archie, will fraternities and sororities be at Logjam?
No, sororities and fraternities are not invited to Logjam. They have not in the past, because the Greek life at Puget Sound operates pretty separately from the student government, and therefore does not really represent at our events, at least in the past. But fortunately, Greek life does have their own kind of schedule of rushing, getting to know the organizations that comes after Logjam. And so you 100% will have the opportunity to learn about those organizations, just not at Logjam.
Yeah, and I'll also note that during Passages Week, we do have an event called Soda Flow Sing Greek Life Tours. So while they may not be present during logjam specifically, there is an opportunity during these first couple weeks to meet them. And that's just kind of like an evening event to get a soda float, whether that be a root beer float or Fanta or whatever other combination that we come up with. And then you get a free house tour of one or a number of the Greek houses that you might be interested in to just jumpstart that journey that you might be interested in.
Follow up, Archie. Since fraternities and sororities aren't there, is Pan-Hel or IFC present? Do they have a table?
Not in the past, no.
Okay, great. I learned something too. George, what happens after move-in on the 22nd? Do we eat on campus? There's events for families on Saturday, but what does the rest of that day look like?
Absolutely. So yeah, the sub is going to be open to eat. The sub is the student union building or the dining hall or the main cafeteria space. So the sub is going to be open to eat for people to eat and have lunch or have dinner. But in my opinion, I would like, hey, it's my last dinner with my mom or something. I want to go off campus somewhere nicer. That's my own opinion, but it's also dorm hall food, and you make do with it, and so yeah, it's available. There's going to be things happening, and also it's a time for you to like enjoy the experience and walk around with your family, just hang out with them. You're moving into college. This is a big new experience and time in your life, so there is no harm in just taking it slow and really relaxing and just kind of processing it all together with you, your family, your loved ones. Yeah.
And so I will add a little bit to that. The diner is actually putting on a special meal that evening for families. So after convocation, you will exit and walk back through campus on commencement walk. We have a special welcome walk thing that we do, and then that'll help lead you directly towards the student union building where the diner is actually putting on something special for that first evening. There's also the Black Alumni Union is hosting a welcome dinner for students and families if that is a group that you are a part of and would like to attend. And then the next day, Sin Fronteras, which is one of our campus clubs for our Latinx students, will also be hosting with their alumni union a special dinner as well. So those are two other opportunities to meet other folks, get connected with various communities you might be a part of, and have a special meal. I would actually suggest that Saturday at the end of parent and family orientation, there's a longer break for you to grab dinner potentially with your families on their way out of town and sort of say your final goodbyes on that Saturday. And then Playfair also happens.
True, yes.
And what else happens that first Friday evening?
First Friday evening, you will have a meeting with your RA. You'll do some icebreakers, and then you'll head over to your all-quad meeting where you'll meet your RD, which might be myself or it could be Sarah. And we will be so excited to greet and welcome you, and we'll give you some of the essential information. I'm also going to plug that August 23rd, so Saturday at 8:30 p.m. we have our quad versus quad capture the flag put on by RSA. It's glow in the dark. It's South Quad versus North Quad. Don't tell Sarah this, but South Quad best quad. Don't take it personally. Yeah, it's our quad rivalry. So if you're into competition, we could use you to come up.
Yeah, so as you can see, you will be busy on Friday and Saturday. You will not have nothing to do.
For sure.
Dr. Brown, is the COVID vaccine offered at Shaw's?
The COVID vaccine is not offered at Shaw's. That is one vaccine that we would recommend you go to your pharmacy and take care of that. And probably, I would recommend you do it 2 weeks before, at least 2 weeks before you start school, so that when you get here, you're actually fully boosted. One thing that people don't know is when you get a vaccine, flu, COVID, any of those things, when it starts working, your immune system drops, so you're more prone and vulnerable to get whatever it is you just got boosted. And then after that 2-week period, your immune system is now stronger than that thing. So this is why sometimes people think, I got the flu shot and I always get the flu right after. And it's because your system does drop right after. So get it a little early and then come to school, and then flu season is a little bit later. So I'd say around October is when we would recommend you get those shots.
Great, thank you. I'm gonna pitch another one to you, Dr. Brown. So what if I'm a student athlete? When do I use CHAWS and when do I use the athletic trainers?
So our child's medical providers and our athletic trainers, we work together. We actually have meetings that are regular to sort of talk about medical things and make sure that we're pulling together good treatment plans for all students. Your trainers you will use when you're dealing with things that are more related to the sport that you're participating in. CHAWS you will use for all your other medical concerns, ranging from I've got a cold to oh now I have a concussion. Hopefully it's not from your sport. Hopefully you don't get a concussion. But you'll come to CHAWS for anything that's sort of, I mean, your athletic trainer would deal with a concussion as well, but would still also send you to CHAWS. So there's kind of a mix that you'll have. 2 levels of support.
Great, thank you. Jay, can I ship stuff to campus from my room?
Absolutely you can. So if you go into your My Puget Sound portal, you can find your mailing address and you can start shipping stuff now, and then the day of moving you can go to the mailroom and pick it up, and they have carts for you to take things to your room, which can be really helpful, especially if you're ordering something larger like a rug.
Great. Is there any special directions I need to put on the address to make sure that it gets to me?
Yeah, the My Puget Sound portal will also have this information on how to address things, but you'll want to start with your name, and then you'll put your campus mailbox number, and then the 1500 North Warner, and then after the zip code, you'll also put your campus mailbox. You can also find directions on the UPS website on how to address things.
Great. So we've got a couple more here, but if you've got any more questions, we've got about 10 minutes left, so feel free to keep putting those in the Q&A, and we'll get them to our panelists. Thank you. George, I have a question about phones during immersive experiences.
Yes.
Can you comment on phone usage during
Yeah.
immersive experiences? Are they allowed? What are the guidelines?
So yeah, they are allowed. You are a college student after all, you're an adult. But also, it's highly encouraged that you stay off your phone as much as possible, to be engaged, to be immersed in your immersive experience as much as possible. Because the point is that we work so incredibly hard over the summer to plan these immersive experiences and organize you into groups and work with these co-lead pairings to give you this instant community of people that you can feel connected with and belonging with. So that when you're in the middle of the semester, you can text them and be like, hey, let's get lunch, let's get dinner. It gives you that instant, that instant friend group, that instant community, and that instant connection. That really makes passages so special and so one of a kind at UPS. So while phones are going to be present, going to be there, even on those car camping, backpacking trips, it's highly encouraged that you lay as much as possible, because again, as much as you give into the experience is, if not more than you get out.
Great, perfect, thank you. Jay, are parents given the contact information for the RAs in case they cannot reach their student?
No, they are not. And parents, if you're watching, you should not contact our RAs. They are students. If you ever have concerns, you should be calling security services, and that number is available on the website for you at any time. And security services will contact our student leaders or our professional staff on call, depending on what the level of concern is. So there are still ways for you to get in contact and ask for assistance. But our RAs are our students, and we want to respect their privacy as well.
Great, thank you. In Register Hall, where could I find the dimensions of our room?
Yeah, so it's gonna vary a little bit every single time. Really, we don't have dimensions because they vary so much based on which room you're in. Sometimes it's even where the window is placed that makes it really hard to give you specific dimensions. Again, I would recommend that you go on the ResLife website and just click Register Hall, and then you can see generally what the size looks like, especially with the provided furniture, which are the bed frames, the wardrobes, the desks, the dressers, and occasionally a bookshelf. More often than not a bookshelf. And that's where you can really get a feel for what the size is going to be and what kind of furniture or storage or items you can bring that will fit in the room well.
Great, thank you. I think the next two are probably, I'm going to let you take a stab at as well, since they're academic related. So the first one is, how can we change our classes if we are no longer interested in the ones we've received? And then sort of related to that, if there is a class that I'm nervous about, what should I do? Can I request a change?
Yeah, so I believe it's going to be on the 25th of August. You will have a chance to meet with your faculty advisor. If that 25th is not the right date, it's right around there, I promise you. But when you meet with that faculty advisor, that is a perfect time to go through and say, hey, these are the concerns that I have about my classes. What can you tell me about these classes? And if you do want to make changes, you can talk with them about that. All the classes on offer are mostly full at this point. You might be able to sneak into a few of them, but definitely when you meet with that faculty advisor, they can answer all your questions about classes. You can switch classes, you can add classes. They're going to be the experts in that field for sure.
The other thing I would say is that while you have your specific orientation schedule in your My Puget Sound, there will be a much prettier version. The one you have access to right now, it's a very tech-heavy, I would say, viewing, and there will be a much prettier version coming out either Friday or Monday. There'll be a link in your current schedule that will open up, and that'll have things with more descriptions that will give you some of that more information, like what Will just provided as well. So that is going to be coming. That hopefully will help you know, like, oh, for that meeting with that faculty member, not only can I talk about class changes, but these are questions I should plan on bringing to actually have that conversation with my faculty member, because that's what it's there for. Bring all of those questions. They want to help you. They want to address those questions, and they want to start getting to know you to be able to walk with you academically through your time here.
Yeah, this is a person on campus, a faculty person on campus that you will be tied to until you declare your major, and maybe even longer than that. So starting to get to know them on a personal level earlier is awesome to do.
Right. George, will food be provided on the backpacking trip?
Yes. Food, transportation, and like everything that you need to survive, water, all that stuff on the backpacking trip will be provided. Things like tents will also be provided. Sleeping bags, sleeping tents are something that if you need them will be able to be rented from the XP. And you can see that on your My Puget Sound on the orientation tile on the packing list. Like tents, food, water, transportation to and from, and also incredible leaders will all be provided for you, so you can have the best experience of backpacking in the wilderness as possible.
Great, thank you. Jay, where are the laundry facilities?
Yeah, so that's going to vary a little bit by building. There will be at least one main laundry room in your building. Certain buildings have multiple, and so one on each floor. So it'll depend a little bit on where you're at. But the day of moving, you'll be able to walk around and connect with your RA, and they can point out where each of them is. Depends a little bit on the building.
Great, thank you. Similar question for you, George, relating to food for overnight trips. Will students be doing the cooking for car camping, or is that leaders? Do they have food handlers permits? How's that done?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so leaders will be doing the cooking, the cooking requirement. Lunches is very easily done without needing to cook, but we're gonna have like a mac and cheese chili night for one of the car camping trips, and that's gonna be super fun. And so that's gonna be very much your leaders are going to cook for you, which if anything is awesome. You're like, oh, I don't have to cook on camping, this is the best. The leaders are going to be cooking, and they have all of their food handlers permits necessary to be trained in food safety and all that stuff. The leaders are awesome.
Right. Another sort of follow-up food related for you, and I can jump in if needed.
Sure.
How do we make sure that our passages leaders are aware of our food allergies?
Absolutely. Yeah, so at this point we have all of your food allergy, food needs all on our own internal database, and we have organized and communicated in a certain way to the leaders about whether your group is gluten-free, dairy-free. All of the backpacking and car camping trips are also going to be vegetarian as another big thing that we try really hard and we achieve really well. So dietary restrictions, we have all in our back database that will be communicated as needed to the leaders. And if you have any other dietary restrictions or health concerns about anything, in the world of immersive experiences, backpacking, car camping, or anything else, please feel free to, or don't hesitate to let us know. Send us an email, DM us on Instagram, even, like anything like that also all works.
Yeah, so, and that information we got from you when you registered for 4 passages. So it is all information that you've already provided. That being said, if you have not filled out your liability release form, that also includes a medical card and a medical insurance information that we then have on file in case anything were to happen. And so there are 2 different ways that you submit that information to us, and we have worked really hard to organize those trips to make sure that you can eat and have food that is not going to, hurt you in any way on those trips. We work very hard to do that. If you do have concerns though, as George said, please don't hesitate to reach out and we can confirm that with you.
Passages at PugetSound.edu, and then our Instagram is at PugetSoundPassages.
Great. For move-in, we check in at our dorm first and then we go to WeLock. Is that right?
So you will find the location that you need to check in at in that mail you received that talks about move-in. Again, might be in your email. Worst case scenario, check your My Housing within the My Puget Sound portal. And for certain buildings, we combine their check-in points, so just make sure you know where you're headed to. It'll also explain where to park day of, which can be helpful. And then after that, your RAs really will help guide you to where you need to go. So we'll walk you to convocation. Essentially, you're not going to be walking alone pretty much anything all weekend. So you'll be able to find all the things that you've got to get done. We'll make sure you know between RAs and passages, we got you.
Yeah.
Great. Are there bike stations in every res hall?
And so we do have outdoor bike stations all across campus, and majority of our residence halls do also have inside bike storage. And if they don't have it in the building, we can still get you access to one in the neighboring building. I believe it's only one of our res halls that doesn't have it in the actual hall. And if you have concerns about that or want to know ahead of time, you can always reach out to reslife@pugetsound.edu. But also day of, you can ask any of our RAs, or again, you can come say hello to your RD, and we can help you figure out where it needs to go. And at the end of the day, yes, you will have access to an inside bike storage, and there are racks all across campus. I would just recommend that you bring a bike lock.
Great, thank you. We have 3 related ones, and for the sake of time, I'm just going to answer them really quickly. You do not pay for your immersive experiences. That is all part of the package deal for coming to Puget Sound. We want to get you oriented and we want to get you set up with a good community as best we can. So you do not pay extra for any of them. The only exceptions would be if you're renting specific equipment for backpacking or car camping. That would be sleeping bags or sleeping pads you can rent from the XP. And then for backpacking, we also do rent backpacking backpacks. So those would be 3 things that you might end up paying for. And again, as has already been said, if that creates any sort of financial hardship, please reach out to us. We do have ways to work around those. The day hiking trips vary in length based on, we have level 1 and level 2 day hikes, and you will get a full itinerary for your immersive experiences once you meet with your groups on Saturday evening. So if you have any concerns about that in the meantime though, feel free, again, reach out. We're very, very happy to respond to any concerns you might have. Okay, we are at time. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We really appreciate the opportunity. You're asking great questions. The team behind the scenes will also have captured these questions, and if you didn't get them answered, shoot us an email. We'll get it to the right person to be able to answer that question. We want you to feel as ready as possible for getting here. And then, as Jay said, we do have you. We've got your backs. We're here for you, and we'll be here to help troubleshoot every step of the way. Thank you for being here this evening, and we'll see you in a few short weeks.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Thanks.
See you. Bye.